don't believe all the hype that you hear about AI and writing a book in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or anything like that. It just, at least for us, it doesn't work that way. So we can get into how that is. So I can just repeat the process. So that kind of helps me. So I say, okay, if I'm going to do another book, I don't want to necessarily, quote, have to start all over again. I want to at least say, okay, this worked, kind of go through. So I created my own little process in regards to that. And people say, well, how did you and your wife, you find your purpose? How do you get involved in this? Right. So we'll tell them how we got involved, how we found out our purpose in life. But also in the workshops, the good thing in these workshops and webinars, we always ask people the same question. People do ask us a lot, how do you know what you're doing is your purpose in life? How do you actually know that?
Welcome back to the Hustle and Grind podcast, the show where we dig into why real entrepreneurs trade comfort for conviction. This isn't about vanity metrics or overnight success. It's about the stories behind building a reputation that actually matters. I'm your host, Andrew, keynote architect, platform builder, and fellow founder in the trenches. Today, I'm sitting down with Dr. Phillip S. Porter, the founder of Generations Empowerment Enterprises. Phillip is a heavy hitter in the world of generational wealth, but he's doing it with a modern edge. He's an AI-enhanced book development coach, a wealth educator, and the president of West Coast Bible College and Seminary. What really caught my eye is how he scaled his own family business to include over 25 family members as shareholders. He's not just talking about legacy. He's architecting it using 25 years of leadership experience and cutting-edge tech. We're going deep on how to balance family values with financial prosperity and why AI is the new frontier for authority building. So, Dr. Porter, thank you so much for being on the show again. This is your second time on the show. I had a great time chatting with you the first time around. Really looking forward to hearing what you're up to now, because you've got some cool things going on. So I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Yes.
So thanks for being on.
Yes. Thank you very much for allowing me to be on for this opportunity. So I'm blessed to be on. Like I said, the last time we was on, it was a great conversation that we had, and we appreciate it very much. And I'm looking forward to the conversation we're about to have today. So I'm excited.
Awesome. So let's jump right into it, because you've got this really interesting idea happening in book development, book development coaching, and you've got an interesting kind of side note on it, if you will. Talk to me a little bit about kind of what you're doing, what you're trying to build, and why you're building it.
Well, I'm trying to build it mainly because of the change that me and my wife experienced in writing books with AI. And so one of the questions that we get all the time, we doing book signings, whatever we might be doing, well, how did you actually do this? How did you actually use AI to accomplish, this finished product that I actually see in front of me, right? Yeah. And the first thing I tell them, don't believe all the hype that you hear about AI and writing a book in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or anything like that. It just, at least for us, it doesn't work that way. So we can get into how that is, but kind of started because people kept asking us, well, can you give me some help on this? Whether it's their first book, or I've got some clients, they already have books, currently have books, but they want to convert it maybe to an ebook, excuse me. So they talked to me about that as well. So that's the thing with it, just helping others in regards to doing that, writing books and writing good ones, right? Yeah. Right. And writing good ones. I don't necessarily get into all of the marketing of it. There's some, AI platforms I use for social media, or how I'll take the orders in for ebook and that sort of thing. But that's kind of my little niche that kind of came to me.
Yeah, I think it shows kind of the entrepreneur spirit of, hey, I see an opportunity here. Let me show people how to do this.
Yeah.
And AI is a big thing right now. I think it's a very powerful tool. Like you said, it's not the end all and be all. It's not something that you're not going to write a book in 10 minutes.
That's right.
It's not going to happen. There's a lot more that goes into writing a book. You're not going to write a good book in 10 minutes, I should say.
That's right. There you go. That's right. That's right.
So talk to me a little bit about the process that people are going to go through if they do this. Like what is the process you're using to teach people how to do it? Just step by step, just gets it clear in their mind.
Okay. Well, the first thing I always ask them, one, is this a new book they're writing, or is it a current book that look like transitioning over? So once I have that, and then basically what I tell them is the platforms that I use and what we're going to do, we're going to hands-on and walk you through your book as you actually write, developing it. All right. So that's kind of what is hands-on. So for example, if they just getting started, the first thing I want to ask them, well, do you have an outline of your book? Right, because that's what we did. We didn't use AI to do all of go in there and say you got a good book idea, and then say write it the book. No, we already had an idea. We already created our own outline for the book, so we already had that information, and then that's when we use AI to help with help with that process. But we're not asking AI to write the whole thing. But even if we write whatever AI writes. For example, the beginning, even if they write some of it, we have a second AI to check the first AI, right? Because we never assume anything. And I'm not really comfortable how copyright issues is going about these days. So irregardless of what it does, we always modify it to reflect our personalities and to reflect our brand. So one of the things we always tell people is that's kind of the first step. Once you have that book outline, AI, ChatGPT or Gemini can help with that process, flushing that out maybe some more, because it may say, well, there's a few more pain points that you can address in this book. Because that's one of the things we like to say, well, what pain points are you addressing in this book and what are your solutions? So that's kind of the first thing is having that outline, and then we'll go from there. Then once they have the outline, and then using AI to help write the book, if that's what they need. And then we'll tell them, even if, ChatGPT is helping you write the book, also say, well, I like to put, maybe an extra step, but I like to put it into Claude or Copilot. I never just take one information from one AI to do anything. I always like to check one against the other. Okay, maybe that's the academic person in me or whatever, and so forth. So I'll use one of them to double check. Then once you got a manuscript done, the writing of it done, and see the good thing about AI, it does very good with editing. If you use the right one, if you're not big on how that's done, it's not necessarily always 100% correct. So that's why I like to use one AI to check another AI. And then once you got the manuscript, then I tell people I use typeset to actually formulate the book and then to make the book or to make the manuscript come alive, because there's a lot of things you can do with it. So that's what we use. And I tell them they have to commit to get their own typeset, right? They got to pay for it themselves, right?
Yeah.
If you into it, this is what I've done, and I can show you. So we walk through that process with them. And then I tell them you can sell it on Amazon, right? Which I have my books on Amazon. Have to, they don't help. By my experience, they don't help with marketing. They don't help with doing anything. It's just a place out there. Or I also sell it if it's an ebook. I use Samcart as a landing page for my ebook, and that's setting up a way that you can take in the funds and they can download the product and so forth. So that's kind of generically. And then for the cover, I use Leonardo or Enneagram for actually helping develop a cover and how you go about the prompt that you need to give it, right? And how you work with ChatGPT to help you create a good a good prompt to give one of those other, ideogram or Leonardo to create it. So that's kind of just the high level of the process, and it's a hands-on walk through them step by step as they on the computer. That's what we try to do.
So it's more of a done for you or done with you product. Yeah. So it's like you're just guiding somebody through. You've already been through this process. And how did you come up with the process? Was it just trial and error, or what was how did this come to be?
Well, I like to train myself first. So first of all, I did a lot of first of all, I asked ChatGPT, what AI is quote platform that could help me with writing the book. So I may get 2 or 3, but then I go through some training. I go to my YouTube, look at listen to some podcasters who's done X, Y, Z, and see, what they did to actually walk through the process. So that may take a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm not doing it just full time or anything. So it's not like, so I'm going through narrowing it down. Okay, you may come down to, typeset and some other ones or whatever. And then I end up, okay, let me just pick one. And then I say, pick one and try to master it. In my opinion, none of them's perfect. Yeah. And I've, learned that as well. So I educate myself, which is a process. And then my background in quality control from corporate, I like to create my own little SOPs so I can just repeat the process. So that kind of helps me. So I said, okay, if I'm going to do another book, I don't want to necessarily, quote, have to start all over again. I want to at least say, okay, this worked, kind of go through. So I created my own little process in regards to that. And so that's how I selected each one, is basically getting trained. And I tell people, for me, it took a few weeks to do that.
Yeah. And I think that's the best way to do it, is just get out there, try it. Each one of these language models has a really specific way of doing it. And one thing I like you're doing is you're doing trust but verify. ChatGPT does a decent job, but I'm going to put it through another language model, which has a totally different set of data behind it, and see how that's doing, and kind of see if I get something that balances between it. I think that's something that misses. And a lot of people think I can just interview somebody, put it through an AI, and come out with a fully fledged book. And that's not the process. There's a lot more that goes into it. And, double checking and verifying things is absolutely there. So that's really awesome. Yeah.
My daughter's an attorney.
Nice.
So she said, Dad, just don't take it for granted, because you're not sure where they're pulling that information from.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So you make sure you always make it yours. And so she's giving me some, legal influence and copyright influence. And I try to share that. Just don't take it word for it, because if it pulls something from somebody else's book directly and just dump it right into yours. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I tell Mark, just have that in the back of your mind. So that's why these extra steps, at least for me, is very important to take.
And one of the problems with AI, I have a copywriter on my team, and one of the things we always think about is, copywriters are going to be gone. Well, no, they aren't. There's some more to it, because he explained this really well one day. He said, there's really awful copy, and there's really good copy, and everything falls within this kind of, world. It's either really bad or really good. And what do you think we have more of? Really bad copy. So, AI is a really good statistical model. It's going to take a large sample, a huge sample of all of these things, but it kind of averages out to not great. So having a human involved and having checks and balances built into it is really the best way to create good products out of AI. I use AI extensively. I really love AI. ChatGPT is my great extra business partner that I need to pull in if I need to bounce ideas like you did. So it works really well. Put it onto voice and do your thing. But I like how you're actually kind of balancing it too with a little bit of common sense, going, this is a great tool, but my hammer is not going to make my toast and do all these other things for me too. It's a hammer. It does one thing really well. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And like I said, and it took me some time to actually learn that. because I was going on. I said, well, this is not working the way these YouTubers is telling me,
Yeah.
right? I'm supposed to do this and this is supposed to happen. Well, it's not.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a little
It's
different. Yeah. Yeah.
And some of my clients, the first thing they got, well, I've been using it, but it's not working the way it's supposed to. Well, you got to learn a little bit about prompting, right?
Yeah.
For example. So,
Yeah.
and so then their eyes will start getting open like mine. That is not a 15-minute process, right? Unless you just want to put it in there and let it spit it out and just roll with it, right?
Yeah.
But they find it out, well, no, it can be some errors in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it can hallucinate, and it can,
Yeah.
if I've seen that happen too, or, you have issues where the last, half of your book is completely different than the first, like totally different style than the first, because you get context window. There's a lot of things around writing books, especially longer documents, inside of any AI, that really is kind of different. So it's kind of cool that you're doing that. And it's really, I know it's a huge thing right now. And I wanted to kind of give you a chance to kind of explain what you're doing, because I'm, anything AI enhanced, I'm a big fan of. So, I like to kind of bring that forward. But you also have a book coming out.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about the 12 Paths to Purpose.
Yes, the 12 Paths to Purpose. It's like a collection of information we've gathered over the years in various workshops and webinars. Because it's always kind of come up when people say, well, how did you and your wife, you find your purpose? How do you get involved in this? Right. So we'll tell them how we got involved, how we found out our purpose in life. But also in the workshops, the good thing in these workshops and webinars, we always ask people the same question. How did they, derive at their purpose? How did they come to, their vision that they're having and actually working on it? And this is almost like a compilation of all of that information that people had shared with us, whether it's through a traumatic experience or it may be in a dream that a parent or a grandparent had, but it was left unfulfilled. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. And this 12 Path to Purpose basically walks you down like 12 different paths. And hopefully when you get to the other side, something you would have gleaned from each one of those steps that you got to go through that says, okay, I think I have an idea where I should be looking for my purpose. It could be anywhere from your, maybe you got a tech background and that's your expertise, but you also like teaching children, right? So maybe you can put the combo together, the tech background, and like I said, doing a podcast to help educate people, kids or teens on AI, right? Or starting a nonprofit. So that's kind of the goal, to help them walk through that process. But it's information that we gathered over time, and many of them from real life experiences that people had shared with us. And so we just categorize it in these 12 different steps. And it's sort of like a journal too. So it gives you some reflections, it gives you information, and then you just take from there and write it down. And as you walk through, we've gotten some people saying, you gave me some things that I just never thought about before. And some things were maybe right in their face, but they couldn't see the forest for the trees, so to speak, type of thing. So that's what that book is. And over the holidays, we actually sold a number of copies.
Nice. Awesome.
So I guess people was getting ready for the first of the year. So I worked.
Everyone wants to get ready for January. Yep.
Yeah. So that worked for me. So that if we're helping people out and providing some information and providing with a kind of a roadmap, if I kind of step through these processes, maybe on the other side, this is kind of what I come up with. But we'll tell them some of this just takes some reflective time, some quiet time. Sometimes it just takes some time. So some people will get it quicker than others, and it's okay to go through it more than once if you need to.
And I think it's really important. From a lot of what I see is people are lacking a purpose in life. They have, they go to a job, they go to like a minimum wage job, do their thing for years, and they don't actually have any sort of purpose. And that kind of makes you miserable. And finding, especially for guys, we need a purpose. We need something to work towards. And so I like the fact that you've created this book that sort of walks people through a different path and allows them to kind of choose your own adventure depending on what your specific circumstances are. But that allows people to get that purpose. And I think it's something that's really necessary in this world right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. So feedback has been good. And, and I have to give it credit to, the AI. They do, they kind of make the book come alive with what it can do with some of the platforms, some of the things, the pictures or whatever you want to, help explain a point a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So helping them use other senses other than just reading something. Maybe they might see a picture or a link to a video or maybe what somebody else has done to help that might inspire them. So I love that versus traditionally. To my traditional books versus these, man. Now my wife said, "No, we're gonna convert some to these other books because they are more engaging." Yeah.
And it does a good job at putting a polish on things. And there's sometimes when I'm just having an off day and I have an email and I'm trying to write this email, and it is very much not conveying what I want. Or I'm coming off like, no, I sound like I'm uncaffeinated and having a bad day. ChatGPT, can you just deal with this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tweaking. I think that's one of the things that it is very good at. It's kind of putting a polish on things and kind of allowing it to happen. So, it just, out of curiosity, I know what was the path that brought you up to writing this book? I know you said you just had a lot of information that you wanted to share with people, and you have a huge amount of information and a huge amount of experiences behind that. But what was the path that brought you to that decision going, I need to write all this down?
Well, I think mainly because people do ask us a lot, how do you know what you're doing is your purpose in life? How do you actually know that? And it's surprising because in many, our workshops, especially we work with a lot of families, and that kind of comes up a lot because we tell them, well, you need to know what your purpose is and what your vision, and they kind of say, well, what's that? Right. In a lot of cases, most people, what we found out, only a few people, maybe, I don't know if it's the 80-20 rule. Like I have a few cousins, they knew exactly what they wanted to do early. I don't care if they wanted to be a doctor or a pastor, what I'm saying? They had that inspiration early, right? And I say that's the rare ones. But we found out most people, they don't have that in that personal experience or whatever, that drive to be a specific thing. They have to actually reach out and actually search for it. So, and that's kind of what I had to do myself because I worked in corporate America, worked at Gillette Company for, 20 years, and then worked for a nonprofit. But I also, it took me a little bit longer to know, well, what am I good at? What do I really enjoy? Right? And so once I came to that conclusion and started watching, for example, teaching and education was one of my things I was good at. But also, when I started looking back at, Gillette had me doing a lot of teaching and training from a corporate would actually contact me and say, can you do some training of our new purchasing system for Gillette North America? Right? Because I had certain skills, I was able to engage with people at all levels. And that's what I did at the nonprofit. And then it was starting to dawn on me, maybe I should be doing that for myself too. You see what I'm saying? So I took the long road. So I understand the people that they want to find out because they're not happy. Yeah. Right.
Or they don't understand why they're not happy. And what it is that if you don't have a purpose in life, you don't have something to work towards, whatever that purpose is, it can be really, you don't have anything fulfilling to do.
That's right.
A lot of people, without that, they're just walking through it. And they just walk through life without any sort of, guiding light for them. So
Yep.
Really happy you did that. Thank you so much for the book. Anyone who wants to know more about it, take a look at the show notes. There will be links in there as well as places that you can go to contact you. Dr. Porter, thank you so much for being on the show again. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to hearing all the cool stuff that you're up to and where it leads you in your life.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your fantastic show, and we're going to continue to share your show with our network. And the information that you're providing us and the community and the country is greatly needed and very inspiring.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
And you do drop some good nuggets too, so I appreciate that.
I try to. Thank you. I try to. Anyway, thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Have a nice one.
Thanks for tuning into the Hustle and Grind podcast, where we unpack what it really takes to build something that matters. If today's conversation hit home, do me a favor. Share it with someone who's in the trenches too. And if you're building your own brand, platform, or message and want help turning that story into serious authority, head over to theauthorityforge.com to see how we can help. Until next time, keep showing up, keep shipping, and keep chasing the work that sets you on fire. I'm Andrew, and this was the Hustle and Grind podcast.